Myself, M. Gunakar, Assistant Professor of Zoology, Government Degree College, Siddipet, Telangana State. Today, let us discuss the aquatic adaptations in mammals. Mammals are primarily terrestrial animals. They occupy different habitats and niches, and they are well adapted for their modes of life. The ancestral mammals were shrew-like terrestrial animals. When they went to occupy different habitats, they get adapted to their new surroundings. From this terrestrial shrew-like creature, adaptive radiations took place. The aquatic animals were the first to appear, which gave rise to terrestrial forms. Many highly evolved terrestrial organisms have moved to water again secondarily, probably because of extreme competition on land for food and shelter. The fact that all of them are not gill breathers but breathe by air through lungs indicates their original terrestrial mode of life. Now you can see in this adaptive radiation in mammals actually. So these are the first adaptive radiation took place from the shrew-like ancestral mammal, which is a primitive insectivore type, and it is a terrestrial animal, and it has distributed to different regions, maybe terrestrial, maybe sometimes the aerial also, like here you can see the flying bat, the arboreals. For example, this is arboreal, this is arboreal, and this is arboreal. They are adapted to live on plants, that means trees and branches, and some of them are truly terrestrial. The elephant is a kangaroo, and the cat family, tiger, cheetah, etc., and then deer family, all these, and some of them they are adapted to live in the fossorial, that means they dig the land and then makes the burrows, and to live in, they are adapted to live in burrows. And some of them, they might have entered into the water because there was a heavy competition probably on land for the food and shelter. That's why they might have entered again into the aquatic habitats secondarily, and hence they got adapted to live in the aquatic medium. Hence modern day aquatic animals we can see. Now the aquatic mammals. Aquatic mammals belongs to several orders, and all these mammals are put under two categories depending on their degree for aquatic adaptations. Some of the aquatic mammals are amphibious in nature, and whereas others are completely adapted to live in aquatic medium. Let us first discuss the amphibious mammals. These mammals do not live permanently in water. They live on land but go into water for food and shelter. They show only partial aquatic adaptations, like they possess small external ears, they have a webbed feet, flattened tails, subcutaneous fat, etc. And the best examples we can see in this category are now the minks. You can see minks, the seals, otters, then walrus. You can see the walrus. So this is the walrus. This is the walrus. Now beavers also there. This beavers. These are the beavers. Then hippopotamus, you can easily identify it. Then ornithorhynchus, which is a prototherian, and comes under an order Monotremata, which is a duckbill platypus also. So these are all different types of amphibious mammals which are adapted to live on land, but they visit the water for food and shelter. Now coming to the next one, the completely aquatic mammals. These are the completely aquatic mammals. They live only in the water. They never come to the land and are perfectly at home in water. All these completely aquatic mammals belonging to two orders, the order Cetacea and order Sirenia. Whales, dolphins and porpoises are included under order Cetacea. Manatees and dugongs are included under Sirenia. You can see the whales, dolphins and porpoises here, manatees and dugongs here. What are the main aquatic adaptations in completely aquatic mammals? That is, they never go to the land. They treat the water as their perfect home. So what are the modifications or what are the changes that have been taking place to adapt to the completely aquatic mode of life? Now let us see one by one. All the aquatic adaptations in the completely aquatic mammals can be categorized into three types. First category is modification of original structures. This is the modification of original structures. There is a big list of it. The body shape. The body shape is fish-like streamlined body which helps in swimming. So this is, you can see, large size and weight. Whalebone whale may grow up to 35 meters in length and weigh about 150 tons. Large size reduces the skin friction and the heat loss help in buoyancy. So reduces skin friction and heat loss help in buoyancy also. Then flippers. The forelimbs are transformed into skin covered unjointed paddles or flippers and they help in swimming. Then hyperdactyly and hyperphalangy. These enlarge the surface area of flippers. High and valvular nostrils, and these nostrils present on top of the head. They help breathe the air without raising head because it is present on the top of the head region. Hence the total body is need not to come over the surface. Mammary ducts. These form large reservoirs of milk which is pumped directly to mouth of the young. Oblique diaphragm. This helps making the thoracic cavity larger for lungs to expand. In the endoskeleton there are very much changes have occurred. Bones are light and spongy. The cranium small but wide to accommodate the brain. The skull projects in front to form rostrum. Example we can see in the porpoise, and cervical vertebrae are fused. So all these are adaptations in the body of completely aquatic mammals. Now you can see all these aquatic adaptations in the figure. In this you can see here a best example of this completely aquatic adapted mammal, which is Greenland right whale, Balaena mysticetus. And you can see just now all the characteristic features. Just now we have seen there is a flippers. The tail fins are modified to the forelimbs are modified to flippers. Here you can see the flippers are paddle like with hyperphalangy and hyperdactyly. High and valvular nostrils, you can see this here, which is on the top of the head so that the animal can breathe air without raising head much out of water. Then mammary ducts also present. Oblique diaphragm is there. So this is the oblique diaphragm. This is the oblique diaphragm which allows the thoracic cavity makes bigger so that lungs can be expanded more. The oblique diaphragm. And then hind limbs are absent here. Hind limbs are absent. Large lungs can be accommodated here in this fish-like external form, so that body shape is streamlined animal to offer little resistance while swimming. The large size and weight of these animals also reduces skin friction and heat loss, but creates no problem for support in water due to buoyancy. And the no hair also present. Because of this, during the swimming, less resistance can be minimized. That means resistance can be minimized. Come to the second category of modifications, that is in the completely aquatic mammals, which is loss of structures. In the first instance, we have seen the modifications of original structures just now in this before slide. Now we come to the loss of some of the structures. So here there is a loss of hair, helps in reducing the friction during swimming. External pinna are also absent, which helps in reduce the resistance while swimming. Nictitating membrane is absent, which is almost useless underwater. Skin glands are absent, which are also useless underwater. Skin loses its muscles and nerves, and this helps in insulation for temperature regulation. Then come to the third category of the changes that have been taking place to adapt to the completely aquatic life, in which there is a development of new structures. First one is modifications of original structures, second one is loss of some structures, and third one is development of new structures. Now we can see there is a presence of tail flukes, which are nothing but the horizontal expansions of skin of tail, and there is a dorsal fin also, and the blubber, which is thick subcutaneous layer of flat, baleen, foam, which is fine emulsion of fat, mucus and gas in the middle ear, melon, which is a receptor near nostrils, Harderian glands, which are present in the eyes. So all these, what are the changes we shall see now. So tail flukes, which are horizontal expansions of skin of tail, their up and down strokes propel the body through water. The dorsal fin serves as a rudder or keel during swimming. We can see in the cetacea, that is whales, porpoises and dolphins. Then blubber, which acts as a heat insulator. It is a ready reservoir of food and water during emergency periods also. Then foam. Foam is a fine emulsion of fat, mucus and gas in the middle ear. Melon, it is a receptor near nostrils, and it consists of a fatty mass traversed by muscle fibers. It possibly serves to detect pressure changes in water. Whereas Harderian glands, the fatty secretion protects the eyes underwater. Thank you.